Hello everyone, welcome to today's class. Today we are going to see Class 10 Science Chapter 7 Sexual Reproduction in Flowering Plants. So today we'll be learning about why sexual reproduction is important and also understand meiosis and differentiate male and female gametes and identify the flower parts and understand pollination and fertilization. Let's start with the topic, children. So, sexual reproduction, what is it, children? See, sexual reproduction is the process by which two parents contribute genetic material to produce a new individual. So, in flowering plants, like a special reproductive organs are present in flowers which help in this process. So, what is the importance of this sexual reproduction? Actually, this sexual reproduction, it produces offsprings with the new combinations of characters, and also it increases variations among the organisms, and also it helps the species to adapt to the changing environment, and also it improves the chances of survival and evolution. For example, we can say like a rose plant, this produces seeds after fertilization, that we know, right? So these seeds grow into new rose plants that may show slight difference from their parents. Yeah, let's start with this one. Why the sexual mode of reproduction? Yeah, one question arises, right? See, organisms can reproduce either asexually or sexually. Then, why do many organisms prefer sexual reproduction? We have that question. Actually, what happens in asexual reproduction? See, only one parent is involved in asexual reproduction, and offsprings are almost identical to the parent, and variations occur only through small DNA copying errors. But in sexual reproduction, what happens? Sexual reproduction produces greater variation. In sexual reproduction, two parents contribute DNA and new combination of genes are produced and variations appear more quickly. And why this variations is very important, children? See, variation helps organisms in order to survive from the diseases or to adapt to environmental changes and avoid extinction. Example, we can say during some climatic changes and all, plants will useful variations may survive better, right? But and they produce more offsprings. Next comes the challenge. So challenge, don't double the DNA. So what happens here? See, if both parents contribute full chromosome sets, then chromosome numbers would double every generation. Do you agree? Yes. So what is the solution? So the special reproductive cells called gamete, they should contain only half the chromosome number. Let's move on. Meiosis and types of gametes. What is this? What is meiosis? See, meiosis is a special type of cell division that reduces the chromosome number to half. So this is very important for us, right? So importance of meiosis, what it does. So it prevents chromosome doubling. That is the main thing. And it maintains constant chromosome number in species and also produces the gametes. So here I have given you the male gamete and the female gamete and also its characteristics. Let's start with the male gamete. Characteristics of the male gamete. They are smaller in size. Usually they are motile. Motile in sense they have a tail, right? So which helps in the movement of the male gamete. And then what happens? It carries mainly genetic information. But in flowering plants, if we take means, see, male gametes are present inside the pollen grains. Yeah, all the flowers which is ever is having the male gamete. So where they are present inside the pollen grains. Let's start with the female gamete. So they are larger in size. They are non-motile and they contain stored food. When we take the flowering plants, in flowering plants, this female gamete, nothing but we can say it is a egg cell, is present inside the ovule. Where it is present? It is present inside the ovule. Yes. Let's move on to the next one. So next we are going to see a parts of a flower. So what is a flower, children? Flower is the reproductive organ of plants. So a flower consists of four main parts. How they are? They are arranged in whorls. So what are the four main parts? Sepal, petal, stamen and pistil. So how they are? They are arranged in whorls. Let's start with the sepal. What is the sepal? What is its function? See, sepals are green outer structure. Can you able to see the sepal here, children? Yeah, they are green outer structure. Actually, it protects the flower bud. Yes, sepals cover the unopened rose bud or any kind of floral buds. So petal, what is the function of this petal? They are brightly colored and it attracts insects and birds for what? For pollination process. Then comes the stamen. Can you able to see the stamen here? So this is the stamen part. So the stamen, what are the components of the stamen? See, the stamen is the male reproductive part. The component of the stamen is filament and anther. What is this filament? This long structure. Can you able to see, children? This long thing, this one we call as the filament. It supports the anther. And what is an anther? This is the anther. So anther produces pollen grains. What is the function? These produces the male gametes. And next one is the pistil. Pistil is the female reproductive part. The components of the pistil are stigma, style and ovary. Can you point out here? Stigma, style and ovary here. So stigma. Stigma is the sticky surface which receives the pollens. So this is the stigma. So the pollen grains comes and sits here. And then style. Style is nothing but a tube-like structure connecting this stigma where it is going to the ovary. Yes, and ovary contains the ovules. And what is its function? It produces the female gametes. And what is this ovule, children? What is its function? Actually, this ovule, it contains egg cell. What it contains, children? This one, it contains the egg cell. So this is for the future development. So after fertilization, what happens? This ovule is converted into seed. Next, we are going to see unisexual and bisexual flowers. So, unisexual flowers, generally, we can, in some flowers, you could have seen both the male and female, yes, reproductive organs will be there. But unisexual flowers are flowers, either they will have stamens or pistils, but not both. Okay, so characteristics, what we can say, like a male and female flowers are separate and self-pollination is not at all possible. In a single flower, inside the same flower, self-pollination is not possible. Examples, papaya and watermelon. Bisexual flowers, if you see these flowers have both stamens and pistil. And its main character is like a male and female reproductive organs are present in the same flower and self-pollination is possible because in the same flower both the organs are present, right? So self-pollination is possible. Example is hibiscus and mustard. Next, we are going to see pollination, transfer of pollen. So, what is pollination? See, pollination is the transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma. So, where this pollen grains are, children, they are present in the stamen, right, in the anther lobe. And stigma, it is the nothing but part of a pistil. Then, we have two types of pollination. One is the self-pollination and another one is the cross-pollination. So what happens in self-pollination? See, transfer of pollen within the same flower or same plant. We call that phenomenon as self-pollination. What are its advantages? Like a less pollen wastage and also assured reproduction. Examples are hibiscus and mustard. What happens in cross-pollination? Transfer of pollen from one plant to another plant of the same species occurs here. It can be within the same plant or different plant of the same species. And advantages are they produce greater variation and also it leads to healthier offsprings. Examples are papaya and watermelon. And what are the agents of pollination? We have studied these in our lower classes. We know so many agents, right? Pollination, wind. Wind is the first agent. It carries the light pollen grains. It just when the wind blows, what happens? This pollen grains, it just floats in the air and it goes to different places, and wherever it is laying down, it is giving rise to a new plant. Examples are grasses and maize. Water. So this water, it carries the pollens in aquatic plants. Example is Vallisneria. And animals. Animals, they carry this pollen while visiting the flowers. So it will stick to their body, and wherever the animal is moving, what happens? It will just distribute this seeds. Like examples are like bees, butterfly, birds, bats are some examples. So next we are going to see the fertilization, the pollen tube journey. So what is happening in fertilization? For that we should learn first what is fertilization. See, fertilization is the fusion of male gamete with a female gamete to form a zygote. Steps. What are the steps in fertilization? First step, this pollen lands on stigma. So this pollen grain reaches the stigma after pollination. So in the second step, what happens? Pollen tube is formed. So the pollen tube formation, the pollen tube emerges from the pollen grain. I'll show you. See, can you able to see the pollen tube emerges from the pollen grain? And then in the step 3, growth is occurring through the stale, growth through the stale. So the pollen tube travels through the stale. The pollen tube is traveling through the stale. So this is the stale, right? So the pollen tube is traveling through the stale, and next one is reaches the ovule. Can you able to see this red color thing is going and reaching the ovule? So the male gamete moves through the pollen tube and it enters the ovule, and at the last step is fusion. Male and female gamete give fuse to form a zygote. This is the last step. So what happens here? Pollen lands on the stigma, pollen tube is formed, pollen tube is reaching the ovule region, and what happens? This male, the male, it moves, the gamete moves, and it reaches through this tube and enters the ovule, and the fusion of the male and the female gametes happens, and it forms a zygote. Next, we are going to see from zygote to fruit and germination. So post-fertilization, the zygote divides many times. Embryo, seed, a fruit, and a new plant is formed. So what is a zygote, children? Zygote is a fertilized egg cell formed after fertilization. So what it does, what is its function? It develops into an embryo. So this embryo, the young developing plant inside the seed. What is that embryo? A young developing plant inside the seed. And what is its part? It is having a plumule. Plumule, can you able to see, children? So this is the thing. So it is having a plumule, and also it is having a radicle. So radicle is nothing but the future root, and plumule is the future shoot. And next is the seed. So ovule develops into a seed. And what is its function? It protects and nourishes the embryo. And next it forms the fruit. So the ovary develops into a fruit. What happens? The ovary ripens and it develops into a fruit. And function, what is its function? It protects the seeds and helps in seed dispersal. Like in plants like mango, tomato, guava. Yes. So last part is the germination part. What happens in germination? The process by which a seed grows into a new plant. Now a new plant is formed, and it requires some conditions. What it requires? It requires water, oxygen, suitable temperature. Yes, everything it requires. So next we are going to see one activity. It is a soak and open a Bengal gram seed. So we are going to soak Bengal gram, that is chenna, overnight and keep it wrapped in a wet cloth. Observe the sprouting after 1 to 2 days and identify what we can see there. We can able to see the cotyledon. Can you see the cotyledon? This one we called as the cotyledon, and it is having a plumule and also it is having a radicle. Yes. So next we are going to see some memory tips and easy ways to remember flower parts. SPSP. What is this SPSP? See, from I have given you from outside to inside. So outside it starts with the sepal. So sepal is the outer green part, and petal is the colorful part, and stamen is the male reproductive part, which is having the anther and the filament, and pistil is the female reproductive part, which is having the stigma, style, and ovary. So outside to inside I have given you. Unisexual flowers versus bisexual flowers. So uni means one, bi means two. So unisexual flowers, you have only one sex organs over there. We can able to see only one sex organs. Examples are papaya or watermelon. Bisexual, both the sexes you can able to see, like hibiscus in and in mustard. So when you just lock these four examples, children, they are the textbook pairs. Very important. Yes, remember these examples. Very important. Pollination. Pollination. So after the pollination, only fertilization. So what happens in pollination? Pollen reaches the stigma. That is the transfer. Pollination occurs, right? So then the stigma. Then what happens? Fertilization takes place. We know that pollen germ cell fuses with the egg, and what happens? Union is occurring. That is the fusion, and zygote is formed. ZESF, that is zygote, embryo, seed, fruit. So you remember that a post-fertilization order, the zygote becomes an embryo, and then the ovule becomes a seed, the ovary becomes a fruit, and always keep them paired, children. Don't forget. Yes. So here I have given you some frequently asked board exam questions. Yes, go through all these things. As I said before, for all these board exam questions, along with the marks and the years, I'll give you a separate video for your easy revision. Yes, children. Let's go to the next one. So we have come to the end part of this video. So what we learned today, children? See, sexual reproduction, it combines DNA from two parents, yes, and it is creating variation in offspring. And meiosis, it produces the male and the female gamete with half the chromosome number. That is very important, with half the chromosome number. The stamen is the male reproductive part, while pistil is the female reproductive part of a flower. So pollination is the transfer of the pollen to the stigma, and fertilization is the fusion of male and the female gametes. So what happens after fertilization? The zygote develops into an embryo, the ovule becomes the seed, the ovary becomes the fruit, and the seed germinates into a new plant. Yes, we have concluded this part, children. Just to go through, watch the video fully. Any doubt, you can ask me in the comment box. Yes, we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.